We are back for Lesson 4 on Google Sites. Today's learning targets include, I understand the difference between top nav and side nav bars on my site. I understand what nested pages are on my site, and I can use them to organize my site. The success criteria today are, I can choose an appropriate nav bar for my site. I can adjust the background color of my nav bar, and I can hide or reveal pages in my nav bar. So let's start first by talking about what a nav bar is. This bar at the top here, where you can actually access your different pages, is called the nav bar. Nav, N-A-V, is short for navigation. It's commonly held use of the language in the tech world where we just call it a nav bar instead of a navigation bar. You can certainly call it a navigation bar if you wish. Google Sites allows you to have two different versions of the nav bar. The first is what we have here, which is the top nav bar. And then the second is a nav bar that goes along the side. Now what I want to do is show for you in a preview what the nav bar looks like currently. So if I click on preview, I can preview my page, and you can see here, because I have little sub pages, this is what's called nested pages. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. I have all of those, and then I have my different pages across the top. Now I also want to show you what the other nav bar looks like. So I'm going to just do a quick change. I'm going to show you what that is in a minute. And let's show you what the other nav bar looks like. So now the other nav bar is a side nav bar. It's very similar to the one across the top. You have the drop-down menus if you have nested pages, but it is along the side of your website. Now let me show you how you change these. You have these three little lines here. This is going to open and close it for you if you have a side nav bar when you are in your editing page. You're going to click on this little cog icon right here. This is how you change your navigation settings. And there's a couple of different options here for you. So the first is your mode. That's if you're going to have a top nav bar, and you'll see up here at the top it automatically changes when you change it, or a side nav bar. So you can do either of those. And then you can either have it be transparent, which means that the color of your site is going to show along the top or the side. You could make it white, so it pops up, and depending upon what the picture is that you have back here, white may look nice, or you can have it black. It really depends upon what works best for you. I am personally a fan of the transparent because I like having it very clean and neat, and it just kind of blends in. I also prefer myself, when I make web pages, the top one, the top nav, because I feel like the top nav is cleaner. But it really is a personal preference. Lots of people like the side nav. It's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a side nav right now for you. And I'm going to leave mine as transparent. So we have practiced changing the style, and we've practiced changing the color. Now, one of the other things that you'll notice, actually, I'm going to go ahead and change that back to a top nav because it'll make things a little easier for us to see in the editing mode. One of the other things you'll notice is I have these drop-down pages here showing that I have a page 1 and a page 1A. Now, let's say that page 1A is something you're still working on. You don't want people to see it just yet. You can actually hide a page in your nav bar. So you're going to do that by going into Pages. You're going to go to the page you want to hide. So I'm going to hide page 1A, and you click on your three dots menu, and I'm going to hide from navigation. And now you'll notice that little drop down is no longer there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same for page 2A. Hide it from navigation. So now there's a couple of reasons why you might do this. It does make your nav bar cleaner to not have all of those drop downs. And you might decide that on page 1, you are actually going to go in here and maybe down below, I'm going to put in this button that is going to link to page 1A. So, and then I can link to page 1A. And so now you see here on this page, if I preview it, this is page 1, and if you scroll down, you can actually click on this, and it'll bring you to page 1A, but it's not up here in your nav bar. This is all a preference thing, how you want things to look. It's more aesthetics than it is actually function, although it does affect how you function within your page. So within these pages, these extra pages here are called nested pages. It's really up to you if you need them, if you don't need them, if you want them, if you don't want them. Nested pages work well. when you maybe want people to click through and see certain things, but it's really an option that's up to you. Okay, now it's your turn. Your tasks include choose a menu bar style for your page, a top nav or a side nav, decide on a background color for your nav bar, practice hiding and revealing pages in your nav bar, and add at least one nested page to your site. You can always delete that later if it doesn't work for what you want to do with your site.